Hello everyone, welcome once again to Extraordinarily Alive podcast series. Today we would continue with the career opportunities for sociology majors, and I'd like to focus on a job title known as social science researcher or social scientist. Now, what would you be required to do in this role? As a social scientist, you would be required to identify and define the behavioral and social science aspects of social issues, problems, and opportunities through the applications of rigorous data collection and surveillance methods, as well as statistical techniques. You would also be expected to contribute and conduct basic and applied qualitative research, as well as evaluation studies. Maybe such as ethnographic assessments, formative studies, case studies, and even ethnographic evaluations. Now, in addition, you would have to contribute both independently and collaboratively to interdisciplinary, qualitative, and mixed methods research, as well as evaluation projects, which might include something like social network studies in the research area of your organization. Which could be maybe health, crime, media, or anything. So for instance, your organizational focus, let's say your organizational focus is on health, you'll be required to assess risk and protective factors for health outcomes in the social and physical environment, including individual, interpersonal, organizational, community, and at societal levels. Now, generally, you would be expected to apply behavioral and social science theories, methods, and techniques to develop, implement, and evaluate programs and policies impacting local, state, territorial, federal, or international public health and health disparities or vulnerable populations. Now, one thing you must remember is that this will only happen in a health-related research context. Now, it will only happen if your research is focused on health. Otherwise, if it's not focused on health, it could be something like crime, which means you have to look at and evaluate programs and policies that impact, international, or global diplomatic or security issues. Now, another thing is that this role would require that you design and conduct studies and research using behavioral and social science perspectives. Now, the focus here is the emphasis here would be on perspectives of social, health, cultural issues and problems. And in doing that, you may have to collect, analyze, and interpret data using appropriate research method, which we have talked about. It could either be quantitative or qualitative. Now, after collecting your data, your employers would expect you to synthesize research findings or results into written documents, or oral presentation or publications into peer-reviewed journals. Finally, you will be required to disseminate findings to appropriate scientific colleagues, practitioners, constituents, stakeholders, and the public. Now, there's something I'd like to say here about this role. A lot of people assume or think that the be-it-all of a degree in social science, is a job role or a position as a social scientist, but it is not. But in the event that you actually have to work as a social science researcher or as a social scientist, then that means you would have been living your dreams, or living out most of the things you did at school when you were in school. You would probably, you'll be practicing your research method, you'll be applying your literature review, by having to source data from all other sources, to come together, bring them together, and then synthesize and then, sift through it to find what would be required to move forward. Or maybe in the process of doing that, you're able to find a gap. You need to focus on the theory, or you need to focus on the method that was used. So that would be all for this role. Thank you for listening. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about the role of a policy researcher or a social survey researcher. Thank you once again for listening.